From Nashville, Tennessee, Inside The Noize podcast with your host, Jenna Hydeman. Here's Jenna.
I'm ready.
All right. Welcome to Inside The Noize. I'm Jenna. We have Ross Cooper here today.
Hello.
He's from Texas.
I am. I'm from Lubbock, Texas.
Lubbock, Texas. Texas is my favorite state.
There's a lot of favorite things about
What are some of your favorite things?
Whataburger.
Oh my gosh.
It's going to be mainly everything food. Fast breakfast tacos, that are consistently good. Like there's this place back in Lubbock called Josie's. It's got really good carne asada. And then there's a place called Rose's. This podcast don't keep me going.
Could be all about Texas.
It's going to be about food if we don't look out.
Oh my gosh!
But there's a lot of things I love. I think that there's an inherent music culture from where I'm from that's something to really be proud of. And Lubbock is such a great place to be from musically, and it's always been a hotbed of talent. Buddy from Waylon Jennings growing up about 45 minutes down the road to Buddy Holly and to now, William Clark Greene, Josh Abbott, and it kind of keeps on going down the line. And Joe Ely, but Texas in general, yeah, Whataburger.
Yeah. The closest Whataburger is like 6 hours away in Texarkana.
No.
Well, it's in Alabama, but it's not the same.
No, it is. What are you ordering?
The jalapeno.
Okay.
Like the burger with jalapenos on it.
Okay. Well, I mean, you can add jalapenos to any of those burgers.
Just like the normal one. I don't know. It's
okay,
on
you
the
can
menu.
get number one with cheese and add jalapenos.
That's probably what I do.
Okay, so it's the Birmingham exit.
Yeah, I feel like it's a different experience when you go to Texas and eat it. I think I'm just more excited because I'm like, we're in Texas.
Sure, right. It's a welcome to Texas type of thing.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the conversation. Maybe you associate Whataburger with just Texas, and you love the association more than you actually love Whataburger.
Maybe.
Therapy and deep thoughts.
We found everything out. I need to try the breakfast, though. I've never had Whataburger breakfast.
The taquitos are good. The honey butter chicken biscuit is pretty great.
Everyone says the jalapeno one is great.
Yeah, it's good.
Is it?
My whole thing is, of course not now because I try to act more grown up than I am. After 29 years, I should probably be a grown up now. But used to, I would not be above ordering a cheeseburger at 9 a.m. I mean, why not?
Right. I mean,
they offer a 24-hour menu for people like me. So no, it's been a while, but I do love Whataburger. I think, but yes, I think I've eaten at a lot of Whataburgers, and the Birmingham one, it holds up. I'm just saying, it's a good one.
Okay. Okay.
If you want to drive the extra hours to get to Texarkana, you do it. Just do it. It's fun.
It's the excitement of going, and every time I go with my friend Courtney, and we drive, and I'm like, we're not eating until we get to that state line. Sure. So bring snacks because we're not stopping.
That's great.
And she's like, awesome. Great.
See, I love Taco Casa too, and there's a Taco Casa in Texarkana. And we've been traveling a lot this year, and we're split as a band. Taco Casa, by the way, I think it's great, but objectively, it's probably marginal. They have really crispy, good taco shells. I think that's what attracts me to it, and good seasoned meat, but then a baseball size helping of shredded cheese. So that's been the complaint amongst people I know is there's too much cheese, but I love cheese. So usually, like we do a Bam Bam. You know what a Bam Bam is?
No.
It's like doubling up, having 2 lunches or 2 dinners. So we'll stop at like Little Rock and get Taco Bueno, and then Texarkana and either get Taco Casa or Whataburger. So
I like that.
So next time you're going through, get Whataburger, but then get a dessert at Taco Casa.
Okay, I've never had Taco Casa.
I mean, it's great because we went into a new Taco Casa a couple of months ago, but a new Taco Casa doesn't look any different than a Taco Casa that was 20 years old or 30 years old. Like the signage does not change.
Yeah.
The colors, the colors are yellow and orange and black, but they're all kind of, it's like they picked on a color palette, whatever the faded versions are of those colors. So it looks like it's a Taco Casa can be brand new and still look like a 1980s Taco Casa. And I think that's kind of an allure about it too.
Yeah.
I really like the Taco Casa. So
I like that. All right. So each week we start off by making some noise about something good that happened in your week.
In my week, like
a week high.
Yeah, let's go 2 weeks.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because I've been on vacation, which was great.
Yeah, where'd you go?
That's a high. Pikeville, Tennessee. I couldn't tell you where it is. I think I didn't drive this time. It's off of 24 East, a couple hours down the road. But we stayed in this big house that was built in 1908, and it was it looked haunted. It was one of those places you kind of hoped it was, but it wasn't. So that was, I guess that was probably for the better that it wasn't haunted. But it was beautiful, huge. I mean, it looks like kind of what you think when you think, early 1900s.
Yeah,
like it's almost a mansion. The place was awesome. But 2 weeks ago, got one of the songs of the week, or maybe it was 3 weeks ago. I'm not good with this stuff. 2 or 3 weeks ago, it was one of the songs of the week for Rolling Stone Country. So that was kind of
that's so exciting.
Well, here's why it was really exciting. It's exciting in and of itself,
right?
But we just come off of kind of a hard gig, and I remember just kind of like I couldn't sleep that night, and it's hard for me to unplug sometimes, and so it's hard to sleep sometimes, and I was just kind of like, I think it's really easy after tough gigs to just kind of like beat yourself up and be like, oh my gosh, is this going to be what the next 10 years is, blah, blah, blah. And it's awful to do that, but I think it's pretty realistic that everybody does do that. So I was like, we need something. Like we need just a little bit of sunshine, because this last 2 days has been kind of like not the most fun. And we got on the road not an hour later. I got that alert, or got an email that it was included on the Rolling Stone list. So, if you believe in signs and you ask for them, you have to be able to recognize when one comes your way. And so that was a really great moment, in that it was like, okay, stay the course, stay in your lane, and keep going, just keep going. So that was great. So that is my week for 2 or 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
I'm super excited. We got accepted to do media at Country Thunder.
That's awesome.
So I'm going to Country Thunder on Thursday in Wisconsin.
That's awesome.
I'm driving up. It's a 9-hour drive.
That'll be great.
But I'm going to do media, but I'm also bartending the festival, so I'm not losing money while I'm there.
No, that's awesome.
But I mean, I'm really excited. It'll be a cool experience because we haven't done much media. We did 10 Pan South Songwriter Round, and that was our first media pass thing, and we were brand new. Like, we were a month into doing the podcast then, so we didn't really know what we were doing then either. Right. We still don't, but
no, it's great. Nobody does.
Yeah,
there's what's really great about kind of this town, and I think just kind of the state of things, is there's no right way.
Yeah,
there's no right way. There's so many people trying to do so many different things, and a lot of the same things, that there's no right way to become successful. I mean, the only common thread is the hard work that's attributed to it. I mean, but kind of learning from mistakes is another part of it. But no, nobody knows what the hell they're doing. Like,
I think we bring a little more exciting flair. I think some media, I love country music and I love all the outlets. But I think we bring something a little more laid back and a little more we're not going to sit there and make you be really professional.
Sure.
And I think that it'll be really fun to go to the festival and just kind of make people do weird things.
It's great.
That they're not expected to do, or that's a little different. So I'm excited to go.
That's awesome. And it's cool. I can tell you're excited, which is great. No, because there's so many people in, music on either side of the desk that it's easy to become jaded really fast. And I love the excitement, my bass player is the youngest guy in the band. And he's 24 or 25. 24, 25. He's right there. And I love having him in the van and on the road because he's like, we call him Perrito, which is puppy in Spanish. And because he's always just excited.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, it's nice to have that because it's always such a breath of fresh air. So as long as that excitement sustains with hard work, man, like I think it's awesome. So good for y'all, man.
I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Okay, so before we get really started,
sure, I'm
going to give you the Ross reel. So usually Courtney she's my co-host, and usually she does like Instagram stalking for people. So I just stalked you.
Okay.
And so before you tell me about you, I'm going to tell everyone about you via your Instagram feed.
That's great. That's a great idea. Let's hear it.
Okay, so you can follow you at Ross G Cooper. Is that right?
Yep.
Yes. And your bio reads, driving a van, writing songs. Yeah. And I like that you put driving a van first. You're not writing songs and driving a van. You're driving a van and then you're writing songs.
Right.
Okay. You are friends with one of our favorite Inside the Noize guests, Ben Danaher. And you guys both drive vans together, which makes sense that you're friends because he has his van.
It's true. Yeah.
I don't know what your van looks like, but I know his has duct-taped windows.
My van will look just like his van in probably 10 years.
Do you drive something else as well, or do you just...
No.
You just drive the van?
Van life.
Van life.
I mean, yeah.
Because we talked to Ben about, like, when he goes on dates with the girls and he picks them up in his van.
I love that, though, because they know what they're going to get, I guess.
He's like, I pull up sometimes and I'm like, he's like, get in my van. Right.
No, I have two vans right now. Yeah, I have my old van, and it wasn't really going to cut the mustard this year.
Yeah,
because we've already put 30,000 miles in the last 3 months, like on this new van, and we needed something with a bigger motor, more space. So I'm trying to sell my old van right now, and I probably will buy something smaller, just a to B, like something to get me around town, like a Toyota, or it was just whatever, just something. But I'm gonna tell you what, don't ever. Oh God, it has been trying to sell this van.
Did you put on like Craigslist?
Yeah, I put on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace and all that stuff. But trying to sell a van, that might be one of the hardest things about owning a van. This van, because you get all these. Like, let's be real here. It's a 2003 conversion van, and it's kept in great shape. It really is. And it's like what you see is what you get.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot of tire kickers on Craigslist. Like, well, I just don't know. We're looking for this. I'm like, well, either you want to look at the van or you don't.
It's right
so
there.
Literally, my morning before I came here was fielding emails about selling this dang van. So if anybody out there wants a 2003 Ford conversion van,
you got one.
You got one. Well, you got to pay for it, but you can get one.
I love that you don't just have one van; you have two.
Yeah, two vans. We're a two van family here.
Oh my. Okay, speaking of Ben, you also supported his release of My Father's Blood, and you spent the 4th of July with him. I thought that was cute.
Well, let's preface a couple things. Yeah, super cute.
That's what I got out of stalking your Instagram.
Yeah. No, my girlfriend was there.
He took a really cute picture of you guys, and that was super cute.
So it wasn't just me and Ben like sharing a cotton candy in downtown Franklin. You know what I mean?
Watching some fireworks.
Yeah. But to the shirt that I was wearing in that picture that you're talking about, Ben got me that shirt for my birthday, and it's a shirt that has bottle rockets and cats on it, like kittens riding bottle rockets on this shirt. It's like the most 4th of July shirt that I own.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a full circle conversation. That was just a little bit extra. You didn't know about the shirt.
I didn't know about the shirt, but I'm glad we got the added bonus. That should have been in the post. It also looks like you've been wearing a cowboy hat since you were about 4 years old.
Yeah.
I think you posted a Throwback Thursday or
a
picture of you.
So when I was really young, my dad ranched and ran cows, and he rodeoed basically the majority of his life, and then that's how he and my mother had met. And then my brother had rodeoed, and then so did I. I rode bareback horses, and basically up until the point that I moved to Nashville. and yeah, so it's like wearing a baseball cap.
Yeah.
I guess. So.
And then you played a ton of shows lately, and recently you played the Bluebird Cafe.
Yeah, I played the 9 o'clock, the late show at the Bluebird, which is it's such an honor, first of all, to ever play the Bluebird, but especially the 9 o'clock, because it's one of those things like if you don't have cuts, you're not going to play the 9 o'clock, and I don't. I have I don't have these huge cuts. I have cuts that I'm very, very, very proud of, but to put it in perspective, I mean, it's Kyle Jacobs and Joe Leathers and Steve Bogard, and between them, it's, I mean, huge. I mean, Craig Morgan, Kenny Chesney, Guy Clark, Lee Bryce, George Strait. It's crazy. It's crazy. And then there's me.
And you're just sitting there like,
it was.
Oh my gosh.
I'm really glad. Joe had asked me if I wanted to do it. And I was like, yeah. And I was kind of like, is that okay? Is that okay? He's like, yeah, it's my round. I get to do whatever I want, type of thing. So, and I want you to come play it. So it was a really cool experience. I felt like it was one of those you never stop learning experiences.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of the songs. I try to be really proud of the songs that I write and play. But it was one of those things. I play a song basically to get the song out of the way so I could listen to their songs. You know? So that was cool. That was cool. That will be like one of those that you chalk it up in the memory bank.
Yeah.
Looking back 10 years. And hopefully by then I'll have the catalog or a quarter of the catalog that those guys have.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
I've never been to the Bluebird, but I work at the listening room.
Yeah.
So I hear so many good songwriters, and I'm like, you wrote that for George Strait? Yeah. I'm like, mind blown right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome. What other town,
I need to go to the Bluebird sometime, though.
You need to. Like, you should.
I've been here
today.
for 5 years, and I've never been there.
Oh, well. Yeah, you need to go.
Yeah, I need to go. It's not like I hate music. Like, I like music, and I love the songwriters.
Yeah, to be fair, I hadn't gone until 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It was one of those things. I had this really strange block in my head to where I don't want to go, like festivals or venues or whatever, I don't really want to go to some of them until I play them. Like that, it gets kind of a goal type of thing, mainly with festivals. But Bluebird was kind of one of those things. I didn't want to really go to it until I was playing it. Yeah. It's like, that's how I wanted that, because my memory of it, my first memory of it, to be something that I was like, I played there. That was my first time to be at the Bluebird, Like, I remember my folks had come to town. Maybe I'd first moved here. Yeah, I'd first moved here. So dang near 6 years ago. And we went to the Ryman. We did some touristy stuff. But the Ryman is my favorite room of all time. Mm-hmm. Of all time. And, if you go during the day, I guess you can have your picture made on that stage. And my dad was like, you want to get your picture made? A lot of people stood on that stage. And realizing that gravity, it was like, I want to have my picture made on that stage when I'm playing on that stage. Right. So it's such a huge goal. Yeah. Not there yet. But it's on the list. Yeah.
The Ryman's, I love going to shows at the Ryman.
Oh, there's no place.
It's a different experience than anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like when you go even and sit there.
Yeah. It's almost kind of a religious experience, and innately, because obviously it's the mother church, and it is an old church, and it's just, there's something special. I've seen bands who I've seen before at other venues. Yeah, I've seen those bands play the Ryman, and the Ryman shows are always better.
They are. I went to a Texas Takeover earlier this year with Aaron Watson. Mm-hmm. I don't know who else played. I was late, but so I caught the end of it. Yeah, but it was amazing.
Yeah, it's a yeah.
All right, so that's my Ross reel, but now you can tell us about you. Just kind of give us your journey to Nashville and
Yeah. So I had graduated college, and I went to Texas A&M. graduated school. I was playing music and I was rodeoing a lot at the same time. And I torn my knee in February of 2012. And I tore it for the second time, but it was a meniscus tear. And you can rehab that. It doesn't most of the time it doesn't require any kind of surgery. So I was taking a little time off, and I was kind of fighting my head. You know, the interesting thing about rodeoing and riding broncs is it's 90% mental and the rest is in your head. You know, it can be such a mind game, and it's easy to, you know, when you're up, you're up. When you're down sometimes. Anyway, so I was kind of fighting my head, and I just graduated school, and I felt like all of a sudden I had to make this kind of like life decision of where I was going to move. I didn't, you know, for me, I guess I kind of compartmentalized the town of College Station. After I graduated, it was like I wasn't going to stay in College Station. I needed to move somewhere else, and whether that be Austin or Nashville, I didn't know. And I was just kind of weighing the pros and cons, and I've been to Austin a lot, and I love Austin. And at the time, I started hearing about Nashville and East Nashville in particular, about, you know, how some really cool stuff was coming out of this side of town, and a lot of stuff that you don't hear. You know, you only hear if you're listening to you know, top 40 country radio. As anybody here knows, you're only hearing the tip of the iceberg. Right. And so I started hearing these records that were coming out of Nashville that like I loved. You know, like I guess Jason Isbell had been making some albums out here, and then I started hearing about this guy Andrew Combs and this guy Raylan Baxter and this guy Robert Ellis and all these albums that I'd never heard before, and I loved. And so I thought I would take a visit here. And my mom and we had flown in, didn't know anything about the town, didn't realize really that I knew anybody that lived in town, and so we were kind of flying blind. We got here, did the Broadway thing, and repulsed isn't the best word to describe it, but it was like because it wasn't repulsive by any means, but I definitely left with a bad taste in my mouth because I only saw a part of the town that was specifically, you know, pandering towards tourism. You know, that's it. Right. It's like if you're going to take a trip down to Austin, I'm not going to tell you to spend all your time on 6th Street because you're not seeing Austin that way. Right. Know? And same as with Nashville. I'm not going to, if you're visiting Nashville, if you have a big group, sure, go to Broadway one night, but then get off it. Go see, there's so much that this town has to offer. And unfortunately, on that trip, I only got to see one facet of this town. And when we left, I felt so lonesome and just had no idea what I was going to do. And looking back at my sweet mother, I remember we're on this trip and she's like trying everything, you know, she's like trying so hard for this, like, cause my family's so supportive. And she's like trying to, you know, make the best of it. Not make the best, just like, you know, we can do this. Do you want to do this? Do you want to do this? And I was like, oh, I don't know, you know. And so a couple months had gone by, and then I started figuring out things about Nashville that I didn't know. And I started figuring out that I knew more people here than I thought that I did. And I was, you know, I guess reassured by some people, like, okay, you didn't see what this town is. You know, spend some time here. This town's awesome. And I was like, you know what? Okay. I love that. Surely, you know, maybe it's just that trip was an anomaly. Like, surely I didn't see what I was supposed to see, and all these records are coming out of this town for a reason. And I was like, I'll move there, and then I'll give it a year. I don't have any ties. If I give it a year and I don't like it, I can move somewhere else. Right. And that was 6 years ago. So I still love this town. Yeah. I mean, I'm really glad that I moved here. It's changing really quick. I think I need to move outside of town a little bit, just because this is the longest I've ever lived in a town or a city. But I still, as much as I bitch about traffic or, you know, old, you know, dive bars getting paved over to put up condos or whatever, there's still some really great things that this town has to offer, and I still love this town. So here we are. Here we are.
Here we are. Yeah. Do you want to play us a song?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
and give us the backstory on it.
Yeah. So the song's on the record I just put out called I Rode the Wild Horses, and that came out March 9th. And this was a song that I'd had written a long time, or I guess about 4 years ago. I just started dating my girlfriend, and so the song is kind of about her, but it's not really, you know? It's like, because we'd only been like talking to each other for, a couple weeks or whatever. And, but the song's about that game of like cat and mouse, know, of, kind of the spot I was in. And it's funny because she doesn't necessarily like when I say the song's about her, but it's really kind of, it is, but it's not,
Yeah.
So anyhow. You're a long blonde 20-something standing at the bar, a rebel with a smoke in your hand, taking pride in that no one understands you. And you should come with a warning, be alone in the morning. You're fishing for the first of many drinks, hooking fools on the first of many winks. Quoting books nobody reads to a man who needs relief. So I bind your shit and I act interested. We're both players in a game, and we all just the same, throwing caution to the shame. Forget the wind and rain, 'cause by ourselves we might be lonesome, but we don't have to be alone. I'm a dust bowl and dirt farmer, wet behind the ears, who can't afford this drink in my hand, but acting cool 'cause I sing in a band. And I come with a disclaimer, just to show my nature, even though my intentions are wrong. It's either you or the next who comes along. Quoting songs nobody's heard to a girl on her last nerve. You see through my charm, you're still on my arm. We're strangers at a bar, having bitter heart-to-hearts, and now we can take my car. I'll show you where I park, 'cause by ourselves we might be lonesome, but we don't have to be alone.
Does your girlfriend love that song? Or how did she feel? You're like,
yes and no. I think she's still like really convinced that the song is about her. She's I mean, it is, but it
Yeah.
So she's really she thinks that it like makes her seem like a bitch, and I'm like, not at all, not at all, yeah. So when we had met, it was like I've tried to explain to her, it's like you just weren't buying my lines, like you could see through me.
That was that was one of my favorite lines when you just played it.
Thank
it's
you.
like she saw through the charm.
Yeah. So I love how if you're looking at the song objectively, I like the strength of the girl in the song, of the woman in the song. And it's that game of cat and mouse. I mean, if you're single, if you're in a relationship, whatever, it's like there's so much back and forth, and like I'll speak for most of us are just full of shit, you know. And can we say that on the podcast?
Yeah,
okay.
we're explicit.
Okay. But that's, you know, at least it's truthful that we're pretty much full of shit, you know. But yeah, I outkicked the coverage anyway. She's way out of my league. So I just think that, yeah, that she's the stronger character in the song. And there's nothing wrong with that. So, but I think that she likes it.
Yeah, I think she likes it. She's pretending she doesn't.
Yeah, we'll see.
Oh. This is one of the awkward silence. So you've been in Nashville for 6 years.
Yep, 6 years on August 25th.
You know the date.
Yep, I do. Yeah. Because it was the hottest day of the year. The first place I moved into was off of a street called Geneva. It was right off of Riverside and McGavick in East Nashville. And it didn't have central AC.
Oh.
And it had window units, but it was hot. I mean, it's a brick house with wood floors. It was just it was a hot box in there. And we were unloading 2 trailers, you know, of furniture, and it was so hot. And I remember pulling in. I mean, because West Texas is hot, but it's not. It's, you know, West Texas is dry heat. You know, it's not humid at all. But it can be. Well, I mean, 100. If it's 100-something degrees, it's hot no matter what. But you know, 90-something degrees in Lubbock is way cooler than 90-something degrees here. When it's 90-something degrees here and 70%, it's miserable.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, what have I gotten myself into?
Now, coming from Texas, did you have seasons there? Like, did you have fall?
I mean, not really.
And not really winter?
Not in West Texas. You have summer and you have winter, and both of them are pretty harsh. You know, winter, it'll get, that's kind of a common misconception. I think most people forget how vast the state is.
Yeah.
And, you know, Lubbock, it'd get down to single digits. It still does. And teens with the wind chill and negative. Oh, it'll get freezing cold. And then it'll get really hot in the summertime. You have about a day of spring usually.
Yeah.
You
Do
know,
you have
or
a
a
fall?
day of fall. Not really.
No. Do the leaves not really change colors?
I mean, there's not any trees. So, I mean, not really.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, there's
there's no trees.
Yeah, but when we had went to this dinner here, my parents were visiting, and there's, you know, of course, Nashville, it's beautiful. There's so many trees, and we were at this dinner, and this woman was kind of like kind of nonchalantly bragging about how many, you know, different trees and stuff she had on her property. And my mom, who's like really really sweet but has this, you know, has this kind of quick sense of humor, was like, oh well, we only have like 3 or 4 and we had to plant all of those. It was so, it just, but yeah, we don't have a lot of trees.
That's weird.
Yeah, well, there's no, I mean, it's there's no water.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm from Illinois.
Yeah.
We have a lot of trees.
Yeah.
A lot of trees. In 8th grade, we had this terrible project we had to do where we had to go find 50 different kinds of trees and take the leaves and press them and then we had to write what kind of tree it was, what the leaf was called, and all their scientific names. Yeah. We had to go find so many trees. My parents hated that project.
No kidding.
We had to do it 3 times. I have 2 other sisters, and they were like, it's the tree project again.
Yeah, that's when you...
use your sister's leaves.
Right, exactly.
They're still there.
Yep.
It was you got 50, but we were all overachievers. So you got 70, you got extra credit. And I'm like, we have to go find 70 trees, Mom and Dad. And they're like, no, we're not.
Yeah.
We're not doing that. I don't remember any of them. I couldn't name the trees anymore. It was pointless.
I'm sure nowadays, you know, if you go on Etsy or Amazon,
you can order the
you could probably order, you know, you could probably Google 7th grade tree project or whatever it is.
Get it delivered.
Yeah.
Honestly, my mom probably still has all our, we had giant binders of them. She probably still has them all. She's probably cleaning out. She's moving soon, so she's probably cleaning out the basement. What do I do with these leaves?
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's probably, I don't know, three types of trees in Lubbock.
Yeah.
You got mesquite and pecan and whatever
I don't
else.
even know
I don't know enough about trees.
Now, my ex-boyfriend's from Brownsville, Texas, so when he's
Texas.
here in Nashville, but like he didn't have seasons, so when the leaves changed colors here, he went and cut branches off the trees and brought them home to his family to show them that leaves change colors.
That is hilarious.
I was like, why do you have leaves in your house? He's like, I'm bringing them home. I'm like,
that's funny.
I'm like,
I love
why?
That. That's so funny.
He's like, I've never seen leaves change colors. Neither has my family, so I'm bringing them home to them. I'm like,
the fall here is, I could be so mad, like about traffic, whatever. Throw a dart, hit something to be mad about. But the fall in Tennessee is like, oh my gosh, it's awesome. It's incredible, right? And
I love the fall.
I'm not gonna I like everything about the fall.
Yeah.
Like I don't like the summer. Don't like being hot. I like air conditioning. But I love the fall. When the leaves change here, it's really a different place, And I like jackets and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I like pumpkin everything.
Your
I like fall
pumpkin spice latte from
PSLs.
Starbucks.
Oh yeah,
Oh my God.
They're too sweet. I can't drink them, but I like the idea of them. I guess again, there's too much sugar in them. But seriously, fall festivals. Like I'm a sucker for all of that.
Man, I love
Halloween.
Yes, I love all the fall stuff, and I love that it gets cooler, and it's like I love hoodies. So I love like the hoodie weather.
Yeah,
that's my favorite.
Yeah, not to make a blanket statement about women, but to make a blanket statement about women. Women love hoodies because every woman I know, you have your favorite hoodie or favorite two.
Yep. And
that gives you a free pass to not have to figure out what you're going to wear.
It's the best.
Am I right?
You're right. I love the idea of just throwing on a hoodie. Yeah. Like, I'm like very simple. Like, I've gotten this new thing where I go to Nordstrom and they have this section and it's like these shirts and they're like, not what I'm wearing now, no one can see, but they're like these shirts and they're like kind of crop top, but they're like not crop top and it's one size. So you can't even pick a size. They're all one size. I'm like, this is the best thing in the world. I'm going to go and buy this shirt because it's one size.
Yeah.
And I'm like, makes it easier. It's so hard buying clothes.
Yeah. Yeah. I just had this conversation. So I think what I'm about to do is clear out my drawers completely, give everything to Goodwill, and then just get, like 3 shirts. Just like as far as my T-shirts,
Yeah.
Because I wear button shirts dang near every day. And I have like a dresser full of T-shirts I don't wear, and we feel weird about getting rid of them because most of the time they're like band shirts or they're our friends' shirts or whatever. But I'm about to get rid of everything and just a couple of white Hanleys and a couple of black ones and be done.
Yeah.
And then not have to don't think about. I don't like thinking about what I like usually wear like a similar thing every single day because I don't like thinking about it.
Right. I have so many T-shirts and hoodies from high school still because I played every sport. Yeah. And I'm thinking about it now. I'm like, Mom and Dad, why did you buy me 3 hoodies that look the same? Because I thought I needed 3. I thought I needed one in a small. I needed one in a medium. I needed one with my name on the back. I needed one without my name on the back. Right. So I have like all these hoodies from high school. And I'm like, why did y'all pay for all that? Like, you should have been like, no, you don't need 3. But they were always like, yeah. I'm like, thank you. But now what do I do with them now? Like, I have 30 hoodies in my closet that I haven't worn in 8 years.
When you have kids, if you have kids, if you have a daughter, like that's. I remember my dad had his jacket from college, just a leather jacket from the Texas Tech rodeo team, and I thought that was the coolest thing, and I wore it.
But those are like cool staple pieces. Mine are all like volleyball, like basketball.
That's
softball.
Okay because they'll be super soft, and
yeah.
If my dad, first of all, if we were the same size, he's quite a bit shorter than I am. He's a little fella. But yeah, if he had a bunch of sweaters and stuff, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'd probably. The problem with our family is we don't. We wear things until they are wore out. You know what I mean? I have my favorite shirt. My family calls it my Rip Griffin shirt because it looks like I'm like an associate at a Rip Griffin truck stop, like I should be pumping diesel or something. Yeah. It's kind of that color, red and black. But I've worn it. I mean, talk about stalking socials. If you stalk my socials, you'll be able to find that shirt and I've probably worn it every single year since my sophomore year in college. So that's about almost 10 years, or 8 years now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's crazy. I have a lot of old T-shirts that I like. My favorite cutoff, and it's my best friend in high school dated this guy, and this guy had a dresser full of cutoffs, and it's actually another girl's cutoff, and
cutoff, like
when I work out,
the sleeves.
Yes,
okay.
it's like cutoff, and it's from this girl, and for some reason I needed a cutoff because I don't know why, but I took it from him, and it's probably 15 years old because that girl was 5 years ahead of me. And so I wear this girl's cutoff still with her name on the back because it's my favorite cutoff. It's just cut perfectly. Like the way he cut it, it's just, and I like wear it, and I'm like, first off, it's weird that I still have this. And it's weird I wear it almost every week when I go to work out. I'm like, favorite cutoff.
No, I think it's funnier that you're able to realize like that's kind of like why everybody does that. You have your favorite something, and we just kind of assign this like some kind of not value or meaning to it, to where you're not going to throw away your favorite cutoff today. No matter, like it could have like stains all over it. You could literally make the same cutoff and it's not going to be the same.
Yeah, I've tried to like lay it out on other T-shirts. I'm like, these are nicer and these have my name on the back. Yeah, and like try to cut it and I'm like, nope, not the same. This one doesn't work. No, I mean it's the same reason why like you have people that drive the exact same type of car their whole life. Yeah. You know what I mean? You like what you like. That's fine. Somewhere down the road, like my Rip Griffin Pearl Snap shirt, I'm not ever gonna throw that shirt away. It's like the toughest. I mean, they need to build tornado shelters out of this shirt because it's the toughest thing it's the toughest shirt I've ever had. Yeah. Like after 8 years, there's no holes in it. Like I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
And it's comfortable.
And like you probably have so many good memories in that shirt.
Oh my gosh!
And
right.
You're like,
it fits well. Yeah. But it's funny that we do that too.
Yeah.
It's just a shirt.
It's just a shirt.
But it's not. It's so much more.
All right. You want to play another one?
Yeah. No, that's not my pick. Okay. So when I'd had a verse of this song written, and where I'm from, like there's a pretty affluent cowboy culture, whether it be rodeo cowboys or ranch cowboys. Like that's just I grew up that way, and so it's pretty common for everybody to wear hats, and then you move to town, and this was kind of before like the resurgence of the urban cowboy thing. This kind of happens in pockets of this country now, where it's kind of a hip thing, but I'd see like just kind of some really interesting hats like downtown, like cowboy hats downtown. These people that are obviously never seen a cow before. And I really don't like slipping jabs in songs, or I didn't used to. Yeah. I didn't want to alienate anybody and make anybody like feel like they're a target in a song. But
this one.
But I think there's such a great thing about preserving a culture, but doing it in a kind of a right way. But I had this song, and I kind of had the verse on the back burner, and kind of had part of the chorus. And I got together with two really great friends, William Clark Greene from Tyler, Texas, originally.
I love his music, but he's like one of those people where I'm like, he sings his new one, "Hit You Where It Hurts." Yeah. Like I just love it, but it's also like one of those songs where you're like, yeah, like
yeah.
I don't know.
No, that's so.
The way he writes is kind of like, yeah, take that.
Exactly. That is, he's a take that type of guy. So, yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I wrote the rest of the song with him and David Bournay. Bournay is a good friend from Louisiana, and he's one of my favorites. He was one of my first friends here, and I don't think it just doesn't get much better than him. Like he's phenomenal. But they were two great people to write with, because Will is definitely that way, where he's like no, you should write this type of song because you lived it, or whatever,
right?
So we wrote it, and it ended up we had kind of a lighter take on it or whatever, and I think as soon as we got finished with it, I knew that it was going to be on the record. You know, so.
Yeah.
Well, the West ain't wild, west of Mexicali, and there ain't no peace left down in the valley. It's all big city boys east of Abilene, and there's a cap gun fight in Middle Tennessee, and everybody wears a big hat now, shooting off their guns so loud, and everybody just wants to get peace pipe high. Everybody's living up in the clouds. Well, I pray this parade hasn't ended. The charade is so damn condescending. So everyone stop pretending you're cowboys and Indians. Well, she's a temporary golden arrow tattoo, a dream catcher necklace wearing moccasin shoes, and he bought the same boots that John Wayne wore for a 50-cent ride on a drugstore horse. And everybody wears a big hat now, shooting off their guns so loud. And everybody just wants to get peace pipe high. Everybody's living up in the clouds. Well, I pray this parade hasn't ended. The charade is so damn condescending. So everyone stop pretending you're cowboys and Indians. Well, I pray this parade hasn't ended. The charade is so damn condescending. So everyone stop pretending you're cowboys and Indians.
I can definitely tell that is a William Clark Greene right too. Like,
How do you mean?
Like it just sounds like some of his other stuff.
Oh,
or
yeah?
like, yeah.
Like which one?
Oh gosh, I don't even know.
I mess with we've written a couple songs together.
Yeah.
And but we wrote a song called Ringling Road on his last or 2 records ago.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of baiting you a little bit, you know, because it has it's minor chord,
like,
you know, and it has a similar kind of musically feel.
I listen to it on Pandora a lot,
Yeah.
so I listen to Cody Johnson Pandora radio all the time, and like that comes up, but like if I don't, I'm like it just comes up, and I don't like normally like look at it, but I know it's him and I know it's his song, but I don't know the titles.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah, no, he's great, man. And again, those 2 guys, those are 2 of my favorites. We all 3 do something that's really different.
Yeah.
But those 2 got David Bournay and William Clark Greene in particular are they're just 2 of my favorites.
Yeah.
Like I can listen to them all day long. I love their songwriting, love their voices. So that was a fun one.
I think he's playing in town soon, maybe. I don't know. I want to go see William Clark Greene. I haven't seen him.
He just played.
Oh,
we
did
had
he just play?
and we had opened. That was probably a month ago.
I was probably out of town.
Little rats.
Dang it! So my first internship ever was with a management company in town, and they're based in Austin, and they have an office here too. And they kind of like started like me on that Texas scene because I'm from Illinois. I listen to radio, so I was on like the top 40. And when I moved here, you do experience you uncover more artists and uncover more different sounds. And them being based in Texas, they were like, he's the next thing. Like, start listening to him now. And that was probably like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and like that's where I started listening to him and got into like the Texas country.
Mm-hmm.
And then
it's a great introduction to Texas country. Then, 'cause, I mean, I can't say there's not enough good I can say. He's been a friend, kind of a brother and a mentor in a lot of different things, and very helpful.
Yeah,
there's nobody that works harder than that dude. So good on you.
Yeah, I need to catch a show. I didn't go into Texas, I guess, in October. I feel like it's so close because I'm so excited to go back.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to spend an entire month there.
Oh, cool.
So I'm going for work.
Yeah.
And I'm only working like 5 days. But I want to go and like spend a lot of time in like Fort Worth area and just kind of like do the Texas scene for a while. Yeah. And the last guest, Bradley Banning, he's from Fort Worth, and he's like, you're going to love it. Like, go see that Texas scene for a while. I think it's refreshing too, because sometimes I get burnt out in Nashville.
It's easy to.
Yeah,
it's easy to. It's easy to get burnt out anywhere. First of all, but yeah, there's always something going on here, and it's just, which is great.
Right.
A lot of it is trying to figure out, where to look.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it's trying to figure out where to look in this town, because there's just, it's okay to not like a lot of things. You know what I mean? It's okay to have a taste for something that's, either not in Midtown or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. Like, and it's this, it can be tough. It can be a little overbearing in this town sometimes, where you're just like, God bless, And I think the, kind of the old adage, if you will, is like, a lot of people like to say that, Guy Clark or Townes Van Zandt couldn't survive here with the way it is now. And that's, that type of storytelling songwriter, wouldn't be able to survive in a town like, what Nashville is now. And I don't know if that's 100% true, because I think those, that's always been different. That's always kind of been a, almost a counterculture. It's like, whatever's the mainstream, the bright and shiny thing. It's like, if you look past it, you had those guys that was the real shit. That was that was what you really wanted to listen to. And it's still no different. I mean, you have what's, top 40, what's going on right now. But if you look past it and see what else is coming out of town, you still have the real shit.
Mm-hmm.
But the great thing about Texas is, it's an environment that just, it is embraced by the fans. You know what I mean? There's always like, it's kind of looking outside of looking, from the outside and on the, like the Texas, scene, just kind of like trying to look at it objectively. It's like you'll have people that'll show up for shows for artists they've never heard of, but they know that good artists come through this venue,
right? Or
they see on Twitter that, whatever artist is endorsing this artist. So it's people show up because of curiosity. And like, people show up. Mm-hmm. That's what's the great thing about Texas. I think you're going to enjoy your time, because, I mean, there's a ton of great venues. And I think there's probably, I know that there's that big sense of community that everybody wants to be a part of it. Yeah. Everybody wants to be a part of those shows, and that's why everybody shows up, and it's accessible, and everybody knows everybody in every band, and that's you're gonna have a great month, I think.
Yeah, I'm excited to just go, because I love the Texas scene, and I just want to like fully experience it, because I feel like you get bits and pieces of it here, but I want to fully experience like what's going on there, because that's a different, like on the business side, it's a different industry there.
Yeah,
and I want to like get into that.
Well, so that's kind of something that to me is the allure of Nashville, though, that on the business side, the business acumen is kind of here.
It is, yeah.
When people would compare or ask how you would compare Nashville versus Austin, it's, what Nashville lacks on the hip side, they make up for on the business side, and vice versa. Some of the best songwriters that the bulk of the people have never heard live in Austin, because what Austin lacks on the business side, whatever they make up for on the hip side. So it's kind of the strange balance. I love Nashville because every business resource that you could need musically is here.
It is, yeah.
Every single one of them.
And there's so many talented people who are passionate about it that can make what you do come to bigger than you expected.
Yeah. But it's just there's goods and there's bads and there's just difference. And what Texas is really great at is it's have songs, record, and a van, and we'll travel. People, you kind of. You go out and play shows and people show up.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty awesome thing because it's a culture. It's more of a culture there, I think.
Have you built a lot of your fan base doing the Texas scene
and
then expanded out, or how have you gone about with your music?
Yeah, so I put out some albums when I was really young, probably too young to put out some albums. My first album came out when I was 18. Do
you go back and listen and laugh, or are you
Yeah, yes and no.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to it in a long time, but I did go back. It'd probably been last year, 2 years ago. Listen to my very first album, and the production was actually really good, but the songs weren't there. There were songs that I'd written, a lot of them when I was 15.
Right.
And I was under a different, kind of have a different idea about how things worked. Back then you wrote songs and you recorded them because you wrote these songs, and now I think for me it works better if I would just write my ass off, because not every one of them is going to be great. And if you write 100, songs and hopefully one of them's great type of thing. So back then I was cutting songs because I was still, songwriting was pretty new.
Mm-hmm.
And so the songs were admittedly really immature, but I think that they hopefully showed some promise, but it's still something 10 years later, I wouldn't, you don't really want that necessarily out in the world all the time. But I'd kind of cut teeth in those venues, and, but I was also listening to a lot of different stuff though. My first musical love really was Ryan Adams.
Okay.
And I listened to, at that point, everything. I tried to find out as much about Ryan Adams and listen to as much Ryan Adams as I could. And then I started hearing this guy, Ray LaMontagne, so that was before Ray LaMontagne was huge. So I started digging in.
Yes. So I like him. He's kind of I don't know, makes me want to go to sleep.
Right.
I enjoy his music. I think he has really great songs. But then that one album, I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago they put out. I don't know. I went to one of his shows and he played all the songs. I'm like, this is not the Ray I know or that I've listened to. I'm
kind of more rock and roll.
Yeah. I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah. So I was, I think what was really popular in Texas at that, back then, I wasn't a huge fan of,
Mm-hmm.
and it maybe wasn't even that. I just wasn't listening to it.
Yeah.
I was kind of listening to everything else, and just kind of trying to open myself up to as much, to as much music and songwriting as I could. I found out who Josh Ritter was, and who's in my mind probably one of the best songwriters of our generation. And so I was listening to kind of more of that. I was trying to find those types of artists, those types of venues, etc. And I was trying to kind of work on I was still just trying to work on my songs. I didn't feel I never really felt like I was a part of anything,
mm-hmm.
And which can make it really difficult, because we have in West Texas, there's a couple of venues that are kind of known for the West Texas stare, which is where you'll play a song and they don't clap, they don't boo, they just stare at you, and it's just
how do you react?
Exactly. So
oh my gosh.
Yeah, exactly.
I would probably just start crying.
You're okay, thanks. You go to the next one. You just go to your next song. Oh. But a lot of those kind of years was trying to figure out exactly what my voice was as a writer,
mm-hmm.
And how to be me through music, because
mm-hmm.
I've been playing a long time, and so it it was kind of a toss up. And some of those, I didn't work hard enough in those days. I didn't really know how to work, first of all, but I didn't really work hard enough just going bam, 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 playing, every show that I could, to really carve out a home in the Texas music scene. And I really found, again, records that I loved coming out of East Nashville and et cetera. And so that kind of like facilitated the move here.
Yeah.
But now going back, like when we play Texas, the response is great.
Yeah.
So, and being in Lubbock still to this, still, after however many years of doing this, one of my favorite venues in the world is in Lubbock. It's called the Blue Light Live, and everybody plays the Blue Light. And they're really, really great about being that home that talk to any band that goes through there. They're like, oh yeah, we love the Blue Light because there's such a great crowd there that's almost kind of built in. But man, their calendar on that website, like their calendar's great. There's never anybody that's really bad playing.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool to have that in my back door.
Yeah.
Because I got to, I remember seeing this guy Dave Olney. He's a fan, like this older songwriter who's Ronstadt's cut his songs. Like seeing him at Blue Light on like a Tuesday or Wednesday night to play. Nobody really knew who he was. Like,
right.
Where's that? It's awesome. That's awesome to have got to kind of come up with that. So, I probably talked around that question a lot.
It's all right.
But yeah, I think as far as playing out, I probably didn't work the Texas music scene like when I lived in Texas as hard as I could. But also, to play devil's advocate, I was also rodeoing all the time too.
Yeah.
So there was my Thursday through Saturdays, So when I wasn't rodeoing, I was playing music. When I wasn't playing music, I was rodeoing.
Yeah.
So
you're like a real cowboy.
yeah. And it's so moving here, it was like you don't want to be a jack of all trades and a master of none. So
right.
I felt like it was really important to kind of pick a lane and go. So I miss rodeo every single day. Every single day. I dream about it every week.
Yeah.
It's this thing that'll never leave. But if I wasn't playing music, I think that I would miss it equally,
Yeah.
So it's kind of a weird struggle, but
yeah.
I'm happy with the path I chose too. So
yeah.
you just have to. Here we are.
Here we are. All right. Let's get into the off the record confessions.
Sure.
Okay. So these are off the record.
Yep.
But
on the record.
Yeah. Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
You start. Let's hear it.
Okay. So last night I went out. Terrible night. Not terrible. Went out with my friend Courtney and we started at Kung Fu.
Mm-hmm.
Jer works there. Good friend. He's been on the podcast multiple times. Well, Jer was training someone, so he gave us free drinks. Ended up downtown Broadway. See some friends play. Then we went to FGL House. My lip is swollen today because I dipped last night. I don't. And it hurts so bad. And I don't dip. I don't smoke cigarettes. I do nothing like that. I woke up this morning and I'm like, why is my lip swollen? I'm like, man, I definitely was dipping last night.
That's amazing. Why did you dip?
Because the guys were, and I'm like, let me do it too.
Okay, well, yeah.
No. My lip hurts today, and I'm like, great. This doesn't feel good.
I'm not going to lie. That story did not go at all where I thought it would. I thought you were going to say, like, oh, one thing led to another, and I don't really remember a lot from last night. I have a swollen lip, and I have my best friend won't talk to me or whatever. But no, you have a swollen lip because you were dipping.
Yeah. So there's that. My mom is not going to be proud. She was a dental hygienist all my life growing up, or like a good portion of it, and it's not healthy. And she gives talks on like lip cancer, gum, whatever. And I'm like, well, Mom, I'm dipping now.
Yep. Thank God for regenerative tissue, though.
Yeah, I mean, it was like the pouches too. It wasn't like
you're okay.
Am I?
Yeah, I mean, unless you like walk out of here and you're like, oh, Anson, you're like, you know what? I gotta have some tobacco. I need to crave it.
No,
I'm craving a dip.
I think I did like 5 pouches. It wasn't like one.
Wow.
I just kept doing it, and the guy kept giving me them. I'm like,
wow, That's awesome.
No, it's not. My lip hurts. I keep like going like this. It'll taste funny.
Yeah. That is, oh my gosh, that's so great.
Uh-huh.
I don't really have anything good now.
Well, I had nothing good until that happened last night. And I'm like, all right.
That's awesome.
No.
That's awesome. Man. You should put that on your resume. Like, you're kind of tough now. Like, you're at least a little tougher than you were before yesterday.
I guess so.
You know?
My ex-boyfriend used to dip all the time, and I would be like, can you stop? And then, like,
No.
I'm like, what? And it doesn't bother me if a guy dips. It's like when the water bottles are left all around the house.
Right.
That's when it starts getting like, that's gross. Please stop. Or they're all over the truck. And I'm like,
yeah.
what?
Yeah. That'd be a funny, that'd be a funny scene, though. You know, you run into your ex.
And I have a dip in my
and you're
mouth.
like, yeah, hey, how you been? What's new? Oh, same old. I'm dipping now.
I started dipping, just like you. I got my
you have
own.
your own bottles and your own spit cups in your car.
Ew.
That'd be great. I never got into dipping. I never got into it.
I think it's just like a thing.
I tried it.
Did you?
Yeah, I tried it when I was 13 years old. I was in Houston, and I thought I was so cool because I was dipping. 13 years old. Like, what an asshole. You know? And
13 is so young.
Yeah, well, and I put in this dip, and we just ate McDonald's French fries. And go up the elevator of the Holiday Inn Astrodome. It's right there. And I get up to whatever floor, and I lose my lunch everywhere.
Oh.
That was my one experience. One and done.
And you're done.
One and
That's
done.
it.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think if I don't know. If I did dip, I would chew probably, you know, just like Levi Garrett or Redman or something, but I don't. I mean, I'm 20. Like,
well,
I just,
it hurts your lips. So don't do
I don't
it.
want. Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to
Like,
do it. I
yeah,
don't want to do it anymore.
It's not necessary to do.
Well, it's like I just turned 29, so I might as well be 30. It's like, what? This is not the time to pick up a new vice. You know what I mean? It's like I've gone the bulk of my
You've
life
made it this far
without doing it.
Start now?
Yeah, it's like I have a quarter life crisis or whatever. I'm just, you know what I'm gonna start doing? Dipping.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean,
I guess people do.
I don't
right?
know.
I mean,
I started last night.
So do you think this is going to be
No.
another? No.
I don't think you go like somewhere and like, yeah, I need that. Like, give me the dip. They'd probably look at me and be like, is this for you?
I mean, but what if? Because I know that there's like different flavors of pouches. What if you found something you really liked, and then you all of a sudden you're a dipper?
I mean,
and then then it's just a slippery slope. You run out of pouches. Nobody you know has pouches, but one person is like, well, I just have snuff. I have wintergreen. You're like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna have the pinch. And then a year later, you have rings in your back pockets from dip cans.
Let's hope not.
Let's revisit a year from today and just see
how it's
see how
going.
last year
I mean,
played
I don't
out.
think so because my lip hurts so bad.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good. So
yeah,
so mom, it's okay. She's not gonna
continue it.
Yeah,
I learned my
fine.
lesson. I was like,
Does she listen to every one of your podcasts?
I think she occasionally does now. When they first started coming out, she did all the time, but she's really busy. I have a little brother and sister who are 7.
Yeah.
So she's got her hands pretty full.
Right. Yeah.
But she usually tunes
That's
in.
awesome.
My dad's really cute, and I don't think he's ever listened to a podcast his whole life.
Really?
And he like will repost everything on Facebook, but
That's
then
awesome.
when I go home, I'm like, hey dad, you listen? He's like, no.
Yeah.
Like,
No, that's great. That's my dad doesn't have Facebook or Instagram or anything,
yeah.
and his reasoning is, I'm afraid I'll get requests from people I don't want to be friends with.
You can't deny it.
Like, yeah, you don't have to. You don't have to. I think he doesn't. I think he kind of wants one. I think if one of us like set it up for him, he'd probably take.
I mean, he'd probably like want to support you and see what you're doing.
Well, so he still does because his either his secretary, somebody that works in his office, he's able to check up on Facebook. And Instagram and see what's going on, because he'll see stuff that I've like posted on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, and I'm like, how did you see this? He's like, oh, Tina showed it to me yesterday, and it's funny. It's funny, but it's great. because it sounds like you have a supportive family too, and it's great when you have that. It's like no matter how old you get, it's like that doesn't stop.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's a really cool thing, but it is funny. It's like just reposting everything.
He just reposts them, and I'm like, Dad, have you listened? He like works. He works all day, and he's like kind of guy that goes to bed at like 8 o'clock, but wakes up at like 5 in the morning.
That's my dad.
And so it's like when he gets home, and like my stepmom was like, "Hey, let's listen to the podcast." He's like out within 3 minutes of it starting.
Yeah.
He's like, "No,
you better get it going soon. I'm about to go to bed."
He's like, and then all
what does your dad do?
He's a construction. Interesting man. I've been telling everybody this. He's owned a construction business his whole life, so makes his living off being a construction worker. But then he loves hunting. Yeah. So I always grew up, and I still go deer hunting with him in Kentucky every Thanksgiving.
Mule deer or whitetail?
Whitetail.
Whitetail, yeah.
And like Illinois, always grew up deer hunting, dove hunting. He goes to like Canada. He goes out west all the time. Like he's always on these trips. So then he opened a gun shop. So he has a gun shop in our hometown. Recently, last month, he opened a Mexican restaurant.
That's awesome.
And like, it looks amazing inside because he like refinished it all and like rebuilt it. But I'm like, Dad, I don't know if you've ever made me tacos my whole life.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you've only fed me like venison and meat and veggies. Like, I've never seen you make a taco before. How are you doing this Mexican restaurant?
That's awesome.
But
that's awesome. That's so cool.
Entrepreneur.
What hold on. Okay. The correct way to cook venison. Go.
I don't know.
You don't know? Well, I mean, you know if you've had it fried or on the grill.
I like the roast in the crock pot with this certain seasoning. I don't even know what it is, but my dad like always sends me home with like deer roast. And the the venison steaks are really good too. I'm not a great cook. Right. So me cooking is like
Yeah.
But the roast is you just throw in the crock pot.
Sure.
Put some potatoes, veggies in there.
Yeah.
You're good to go.
That sounds good. Our Christmas dinner is deer steak. It's fried backstrap. So we do fried backstrap, French fries, and gravy. That's literally our Christmas dinner. We grew up hunting up until a certain point. Then, it was on leased land. Yeah. And it just didn't want to pay for leased land anymore, type of thing. But where our family lives, they're the only family out there that's not German, and this basically what would be a German country community. You know, that they don't really have neighbors, but their neighbors are. They do. You know, their neighbors are a couple miles apart, but everybody that lives around there are all German. So all these Germans that live out there are all hunters, and everybody has their own smokehouse. Like everybody has their own sausage recipe, and everybody has deep freezes just stocked with backstrap. So it's like they just give it to my folks. It's like the nicest thing of all time, because my folks just end up having a stocked freezer full of sausage and deer and backstrap.
I love.
But that's our favorite
deer
meal.
Sticks.
Oh yeah,
like my favorite
totally.
Snack.
Yeah,
I always want to steal
the ones
that
look like
home.
Slim Jims.
Yes.
Yep.
So good.
Yeah, those are great.
So good.
I like the dried sausage too.
Yeah.
You ever had that? Just dehydrated dried sausage.
I don't think I have. I probably have at some point. I feel like my dad used to feed us like he's had rabbits. Like I think he probably used to feed us a lot of things that we didn't know what it actually was. He probably just told us it was chicken. Yeah. And we were like, yay.
That's awesome. All right. So what was the question? Was
a confession.
Confession. Yeah. I mean, so I have adult onset asthma. It's not really like anything juicy or great or cool, but I don't understand how I can go 29 years. Well, I've had it for like the last year, but I just got my puffer last week. I go 28 years and never have any problems, you know? Yeah. And so finally, every time I'd go work out, I would feel like, I get to a certain point what I could only describe was an asthma attack. You know? Do you have asthma?
No.
Okay, good. Because it sucks. But, so I don't go to the doctor. I hate going to the doctor. So I finally break down and go to the doctor and go in just to the walk-in clinic, snooing over by the house. And I got something lodged in my eye about 3 weeks too. So I was kind of one-stop shopping. I was like, I'm going to need this for my eye, but I was so embarrassed that, not really embarrassed. I just didn't want to mess with the whole rigmarole of having to go through a diagnosis of asthma. And I'd already known, like I know what it is. I have a great friend that's a nurse that she kind of ran me through all this. She's like, it sounds like asthma. Anyway. So I was like trying to be like like I was trying to like pull one over on them so I didn't have to deal with it. I went to the clinic and I was like, yeah, so I have asthma and I just, my inhaler ran out a long time ago and I needed just a new prescription for albuterol. Can y'all do that? And like, oh, sir, you've been having flare-ups or what's been going on? I'm like, yeah, totally flare-ups. Like, I don't know what they're talking about, So I'm like, how ridiculous. Like, I'm like faking that I've had this like asthma thing for years, just so I don't have to go through like the length of the. Okay, well, tell me, but what's going on here? It's like, well, I can't breathe. so I act like I've had asthma. Oh, it's been going on for years and years, and just like I've weaned myself off my inhaler, don't need it anymore. But now I've been working out and been flare-ups, whatever. So that's kind of like in the last week. That's kind of my weekly thing. But she's the doctor who's only like 34.
Yeah.
I'm like, by the way, while I'm here, I got something lodged in my eye. And I can't really see, and my eye hurts, and I've been using eye drops, and can you just look at my eye? So she's looking, she's like, oh, it's really red, and she's like, you need to go to the eye doctor. I was like, ma'am, I'm not going to lie, I'm probably not going to go to the eye doctor. Is there some drops you can prescribe me? She's like, yeah, I can give you these drops. But if it doesn't clear up in 3 to 5 days, you have to promise me you're going to go to the eye doctor. I'm like, okay, yeah. Got it. So I got these drops. I get my albuterol, and then she's like listening to my lungs, and she's listening. She's like, okay, down low they sound pretty good. Up high, they don't sound so good. Like, you smoke? I was like, no. Have you lived in Nashville long or Tennessee long? I was like, yeah, like 6 years. She's like, so do you have allergies? I was like, well, I've lived in Nashville for 6 years, so yeah. I have. So now I feel like I'm just slowly, after 29 years, like assuming the nerdy kid cliche, like the kid that goes to summer camp with just a separate backpack full of meds,
Yeah.
Like I have allergy medication that's for people with asthma. I have adult onset asthma, which that in and of itself sounds funny,
It does.
I have eye drops because there's something going on with my eye. Like, I'm breaking down here, You
gotta take care of yourself.
I do. I mean, outside of all this, like, how can you take care of asthma?
Yeah.
I'm sorry I don't have a better confession.
No.
I didn't dip for the first time,
I mean, but you dipped when you were 13.
That was a better confession, I think. Yeah, I think that was probably a better confession.
No.
But that's just the asthma thing's kind of been. Now I feel great. I took some albuterol
Yeah?
before I came here. Yeah.
You've been working out?
Yeah. I hit the inhaler.
You can breathe?
Hit the inhaler. I take it with me.
Good.
I wear it around my neck.
Do you really?
No. How great would that be?
No.
Like a bright, like dinosaur colored, like bright green and purple inhaler that's like around a carabiner on my neck.
Oh my gosh.
A headband, maybe.
Like, who is this guy?
Yeah, Rec specs, like the goggle glasses.
Or like a sweatband.
It'd be great.
It would be great. I teach kickboxing, so if you showed up in my class like that, I'd be like,
that's awesome. Where do you teach it?
Hotbox.
Yeah.
Have you been?
Yeah. No, my girlfriend used to work there years ago.
Wow, I have probably known her from there.
Yeah, we'll talk off the record.
Yeah. All right, let's do one more song.
Okay.
And wrap her up.
All right. If I can't breathe, I don't have my inhaler, so we'll hope for the best.
Has it affected your singing or your performing?
Yeah.
Or that could also be allergies. I feel like could affect your voice and your.
Yeah, and I'm a little sniffly this morning, but
yeah,
I'm kind of. Again, I don't go to the doctor, so
you need to start taking vitamins. I'm a huge fan of this. So I love everything from Texas. Like all my favorite products, I feel like come from Texas too. But there's this brand of vitamins called On It.
Okay.
And they're from Austin, Texas. Really interesting owners. He's a really smart businessman, Aubrey, who owns the company. But they have day and night packs. So it's like 7 vitamins for your daytime.
That's a lot.
But they're great for musicians because you literally have a day pack and a night pack. It comes in like a little you just open it, pop them in, you're good. But,
sounds expensive.
Kind of.
Yeah. So it's not for musicians.
But sponsorships, no, I don't know. When I travel, I use them. I feel like because there's immune boosting. There's almost like a pre-workout one, but not really. Like gives you energy. Then there's one for nighttime called New Mood, and it helps you sleep and calm you. I don't know. I recommend them.
Well, if I could afford, we'll chat.
They are expensive.
No,
I like go on and off if I know I'm traveling for like 3 weeks or I have a lot of like airplanes. I just feel there's so many germs and like then I make sure I have them, but then I'll like not take them for a month because I also think that I'll build up immunity to them.
Well, and acclimating to a different climate too can like every time my brother goes back to West Texas, like he lives down in Central Texas right now, but every time he goes back to West Texas, he gets sick. So that I consider that would be very useful. But my throat stays sore and I stay stopped up, basically. I mean, like I steam out when we're on the road. I'll steam out in a shower. I'll just sit in the bottom of a shower, turn it on as hot as it'll go, and then I'll drink tea and drink some water and I'm usually
throat
pretty
coat.
good. Yeah,
I live on throat coat for teaching my classes.
Yeah, yep, it's the way.
That's the way to go.
So this is the title track. I wrote The Wild Horses. And I wrote this, it was one of those wrote by myself in like 30, 45 minutes type of thing. And I knew kind of after I wrote it that this would be the title track of the record because I'd already been kind of putting together a couple songs. I had an idea that I kind of wanted to put out another record. But, back home, like, how the small towns are. Mm-hmm. Like, we looked up to cowboys, like rodeo cowboys. Like, we looked up to these guys they were heroes, to us. And what happens in these little small towns is these guys that are heroes, like, they're sports heroes. The town kind of, these guys get older and town kind of forgets about them, or the town, kind of fizzles out, or it, the city grows into it or whatever. And these guys kind of get forgotten about.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of, this song is always, it's kind of the ongoing tip of the hat for that guy, and I think probably a lot of it is like I kind of think of my dad when I think about this song.
Yeah.
This town, it's a changing, but I feel the same. Guess everything's different but me. The old stomping grounds are all stomped out for all the slow rolling tumbleweeds. I guess I look a little broken from my hat to my toes. My belt buckle's fading out, but it was sure shiny back in '89 when I was the best damn hand around. So slide on over, mama, I'ma tell you something, darling. I'm a spitfire son of the road. Well, I've been raised on the miles, crazy living high, and I ain't got much to show, but I rode the wild horses. Well, big lights used to shine past the fairground sign. There's a line of cars past the gate, and people climbing on the fence to catch a glimpse of a bronc buster fighting for eight. Now I'm a patchwork of scars posted at the bar, 'cause the pain ain't up and left. These beers taste old, the rodeo cold, but they ain't killed me yet. So slide on over, mama, I'ma tell you something, darling. I'm a spitfire son of the road. Well, I've been raised on the miles, crazy living high, and I ain't got much to show, but I rode the wild horses. And every morning at the diner, I watch the freight liners burn up the highway through town. And as you reach the edge, I look up from my edge to see the lights of the rodeo grounds. So slide on over, mama, I'ma tell you something, darling. I'm a spitfire son of the road. Well, I've been raised on the miles, crazy living high, and I ain't got much to show. Listen to me, lady, I'ma lay it on you, baby. I'm a spitfire son of the road. Well, I've been raised on the miles, crazy living high, and I ain't got much to show, but I rode the wild horses. Yeah, I rode the wild horses. Thank you.
All right, Ross, where can everyone follow you
Okay.
and find you?
The socials. Yeah, Instagram. The username is Ross G. Cooper. How out of touch is that? The username on Instagram.
The username.
Yeah, Ross G. Cooper on Instagram. On Facebook, it's Ross Cooper Music. Twitter, it's also Ross Cooper Music. And my website is ross-cooper.com. Not to be confused with the slash, but the dash.
The dash.
Yeah, so for those of you that are still confused, it looks like ross-cooper.com. So ross-cooper.com stays pretty updated. And Instagram stays pretty updated too.
Yeah, and you have a lot of tour dates coming up.
Yes, yeah. Kind of a light summer, but late summer into the fall is great. We'll be kind of everywhere. Everywhere.
So you can find them everywhere.
That's right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for
coming. A lot of
coming.
fun.
Yes, always is.